All right, quick pause, Hamda. We've got breaking news upon breaking news upon breaking news this hour. This is the last one coming into us just now. The Israeli military says that Iran has launched a missile from Iran into the territory of the State of Israel. We're now looking at live pictures of what may be, and I'm going to see if I can get confirmation of this in my earpiece, of what may be a missile possibly launched by Iran. We are seeing the live shots over the skies of Tel Aviv right now. So for context, for viewers who are just joining us, it is 16:38 GMT. You're watching the skies over Tel Aviv of what may be, but I'm not in a position to confirm this right now, an Iranian missile or multiple Iranian missiles aimed at Tel Aviv. The context around this is that about 2 hours ago, a U.S. official let it be known that Iran was preparing an imminent ballistic missile attack on Israel. And now this information, the Israeli military is saying that Iran has indeed launched a missile. Now you're seeing several streaks in the sky. I'm unable to tell you what exactly they are. Hamda, okay, everybody bear with us as we are watching this live footage, and we are unable to tell you right now the exact nature of what you're seeing, the streaks and the flares in the sky. These are the skies over Tel Aviv. Now, the much wider context around all of this is that for the past year, there has been a huge question as to how Israel and Iran were going to conduct themselves towards one another. Okay, we're now seeing multiple dots or flares or missiles or rockets in the sky in a downwards trajectory towards Tel Aviv. You're hearing the sirens. Okay, and now you're seeing flares in an upward trajectory, which would strongly suggest that this is Israel's anti-missile systems that are being activated. Whether it's anti-missile, anti-rocket, we will ask military experts in due time. But you have seen projectiles coming down over Tel Aviv, and they still are. Remember what happened in April. Back in April, Iran led all of this coming in live to us at Al Jazeera, the skies over Tel Aviv. So these flashes may well be, but again, we have to exercise extreme caution. These flashes may well be interceptions. Interceptions of these projectiles. 1, 2, possibly 3 of them may or may not have hit their targets, in Tel Aviv. For an hour now, for a year now, we have been asking whether or not this could tilt into something even bigger than it has been. In other words, a direct, full-blown war. Oh, that's a direct hit. That is a direct hit on Tel Aviv. The flashes in the sky are likely to be interceptions of Iranian missiles, but we did see one that appeared to land in Tel Aviv. So again, to that question that we've been asking for a year, so many of our analysts and commentators saying the situation between Israel and Gaza and then between Israel and Hezbollah carries with it a very big risk of a major regional confrontation, the major actors of which would be Israel, Iran, and potentially then the United States. And we may be seeing a further salvo in this confrontation. The latest information we're getting, coming from the Israeli media Yediot Aharonot, is that 102 missiles have been launched from Iran into Israel. All of this is live. We're going to take a moment to take in this footage. It's coming up on 8 p.m. local time in Tel Aviv, and these are the live scenes. If you're just joining us, we cut away to this live shot about 3-4 minutes ago, and we started seeing flares in the sky, downward trajectory of projectiles that were, some of which at least, have landed on Tel Aviv. Others appear to have been intercepted. And the Israeli military is saying that Iran has launched missiles from Iran into the state of Israel. Now, in the hour or two before we saw what appears to have been an Iranian missile attack on Israel, and you hear the sirens there telling people to go in shelter, telling people to go to their bunkers. Many Israelis have access to a bunker either directly in their house, or some of them will shelter with neighbors, is what they typically do when they hear those sirens. There are also bunkers in the street, locations that people know to go to when they hear the sirens, if they happen to be out in the street at that moment. A couple of hours ago, a U.S. official said that they had the information Iran was planning an imminent ballistic missile attack on Israel. Now Israel is saying that it had occurred, and there is every likelihood that what you're seeing on your screen is indeed the live shot of that missile attack, with the Israeli media, Yediot Aharonot, reporting that 102 missiles were launched. The question that is going to be raised, of course, is we have no damage assessment at this hour. How many were intercepted? How many actually hit their targets? What were the targets? Were Israeli civilians killed in Tel Aviv? The answer to those questions is going to be very important in the coming moments, in the coming hours, and could determine the trajectory of this conflict. This continues to be live. We'll continue to watch this. We're joined by Akiva Eldar, political analyst, joining us from Tel Aviv. Akiva, where are you coming to us from? I mean, I know Tel Aviv, but where? It looks like you're in your house.
Yeah, I'm in my house, sitting with my wife in the safe room. We keep hearing the sirens. We live not far from the beach, and we know that there were some missiles that luckily fell into the water, into the sea. We know that we have to stay here for some time because the sirens keep coming on. And we get the information from the radio. We don't have TV here. Actually, we can't watch you and Al Jazeera anyway.
Well, Akiva, we're seeing what you can't see, and right now it's the latest pictures, but those were long minutes that we just watched live of the skies over Tel Aviv and Iranian missiles coming down on Tel Aviv. What we saw, Akiva, were multiple interceptions, those flashes in the sky, but I saw at least one, and there may well have been more, at least one of those projectiles land in Tel Aviv. Where exactly, obviously, I cannot tell you. Could you describe for our viewers, so they understand what people in Tel Aviv are experiencing right now? When you say you're in your safe room, can you describe for our viewers what that is?
A safe room is a very small room, which is supposed to offer us full safety. It's blocked. We have a very heavy window with an iron shelter. The room is supposed to give us full protection. We know that when it happened in the south, when people were attacked, that it saved their lives in Sderot and around Gaza. So it should offer us protection. We are not far from the Ministry of Defense and the IDF headquarters. It's about 15 kilometers from there. And, you know, we know that the Israeli civilians are part of the Israeli army, and we are not really safe as long as the war is still on. Even if we go to do shopping in Jaffa, what happened an hour ago is that two terrorists have attacked people who were waiting for the light train. I don't remember anything like this since '91, the Gulf War, when we had to stay in shelters. At that time, I lived in Jerusalem, so even Jerusalem was not safe.
What are the instructions for you right now? I mean, the immediate instructions for you. You mentioned the radio earlier. Are you getting anything on the radio?
Yeah, we are getting radio. There were, since the war started, there were clear instructions to stay near safe rooms or people who have real shelter in their homes, and to keep away from crowded areas. I know that we were supposed to have now an event to raise a toast for the new year, which was canceled. The orders are to keep away from crowded areas with more than 30 people outside and a few hundred people in a building. People were doing a lot of shopping, especially with mineral water to keep with. Now maybe you can hear the siren again coming up in the area of Tel Aviv, and people were ready for this, hoping that it will not happen. But the supermarkets in the last few days were packed with people who, got ready for the holiday, for the new year that will happen the eve of Rosh Hashanah. The Jewish New Year is on Wednesday, so people were shopping for, celebrating the New Year, but at the same time to be ready for what's happening right now.
Okay, Akiva, can I ask you to stand by, if you don't mind? Can I ask you to do that for us? Stay on the line. And
Sure.
I'm going to go to Iran,
Okay.
and I'm going to remind our viewers, I'm sure there are many people who are tuning in right now. They will have got the alerts on their phones that there were Iranian missiles that were launched at Israel. Many people must be tuning in now. It is 16:51 GMT. That means it's just coming up on 8 p.m. local time in Tel Aviv, and it's just after 8 p.m. actually in Tehran. And what has happened is the following, that Israel says Iran launched missiles at Tel Aviv. We saw them live on Al Jazeera. This was about 10 minutes ago, so this is all happening right now. You're getting the live shots in the center of your screen, and you're still seeing flares in the sky. Now, is that an upward or downward trajectory? Those look like they're coming down. So those flashes, as we were saying earlier, are likely to be interceptions. So you're seeing downward and upward. The reason would be that missiles are falling on Tel Aviv right now, live, and the upward flares would be, those are the interceptions, would be Israel's anti-missile defensive systems. So this is the latest information that we have. Nearly 250 missiles were launched into Israel from Iran. according to the Israeli Army radio. Let's go to Tawhid Asadi, writer, specialist in Iranian affairs. You're joining us live from Tehran. A couple moments ago when we talked, you said that the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, were going to make an announcement. Have they spoken?
Yes, indeed. This is the latest update from Iran, and we see this statement coming from Iranian IRGC. And I'm quoting that they said that in response to the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh and Said Hassan Nasrallah and martyr Neil Furushan, one of the Iranian IRGC's top officials that was assassinated in the recent attacks in Beirut, we attacked the heart of the occupied lands. And I'm going to translate the rest. The statement says that in case the Zionist regime tries to respond to Iranian operation, it will face crushing responses. This is what we have been hearing from IRGC's statement so far. And at the same time, I'm hearing sounds of Allahu Akbar from Tehran's mosques in my background. I'm not sure if you can hear that. And the Iranian state television said that it was just a first wave of attacks that was conducted after a long period of waiting, a long period after assassination of Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran. And it was a long expected retaliatory action that we are seeing tonight from Tehran. They didn't deny the possibility of a second round. This is one important point. Another point was that Iranian state television reported that it's not just Tel Aviv under attack. Other parts of the occupied territories are under attack at the time being. They also said this many parts of occupied territories were under attack. Tens of ballistic missiles, according to the report, have been fired, and we are waiting for further details. But it was also reported that the current operation has been conducted under the ratification of Iranian National Security Council, from which we had Mr. Ahmadian today that talked about the possibility of retaliation. He said that this is not Red Iran, this is the resistant front and the entire resistant movement that has been engaged into this war. Therefore, we're not waiting for, I'm quoting him, single action. With that said, I think we will be waiting for more comprehensive actions from the resistant front in these hours down the road.
Okay, Tawhid Asadi, thank you very much for all of that you're bringing us from Iran. So the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps, said just moments ago, confirming they launched at least 250 missiles towards Israel. They warned that if Israel retaliated to that attack, then Tehran's response would be, quote, more crushing and ruinous. They also said that this was the response to Israel's assassination of Ismail Haniyeh, the then leader of Hamas, in Tehran. That was late July, and the response to Israel's assassination of Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah. That was just on Friday.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.